Hey, everybody. I'm Dan Crosier. I'm here with Jeff Abbott from the Gorehounds Playground. Sorry,
That's all right.
I am. Yeah, that is such a fun name, but I keep like getting my tongue tied around that.
It's a bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah. Anyway, we're here. It's COFOH Live and Undead. I'm up here in Fort Collins, and yeah, this place is absolutely amazing. You guys really do need to come up here. All you Denver fucks, get up here. Um, anyway, Jeff, thanks for having me out.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming up here.
it really is such a treat. I had no idea what to expect. I saw some comments online and then some photos on your Facebook page and stuff, and it really doesn't do any justice. It is really cool. The theater around here, guys, is amazing. You've got all these couches and stuff.
It's set up as a home theater, but it works well as a multi-purpose space. So you could do gaming in here. You can watch movies. You can have a party, board games, magic drafts. I've done all kinds of stuff. Kid parties, birthday parties.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, this to me, it reminds me of not only the video store, but also the comic book shop. And like a kind of meeting rooms, of course, but theater lounge. It's a very versatile space. There's a lot of opportunities here.
Yeah, I tried to create what I would call a counterculture center.
Okay.
Instead of a cultural center, it'd be a countercultural center.
Okay. Wow.
So just a place where the freaks can get together and hang out and
meet
people that are like them. You know, I know most of the horror crowd around here is antisocial and they don't like to go out and meet new people so much, but this is a comfortable environment where everybody can come in and you can surpass that 15 minutes of superficial bullshit of getting to know someone and you've already got something in common if you walk through the door. So
nice.
Kind of helps to break that barrier.
Yeah. It might not seem it, but I am relatively introverted. When I'm doing my own thing, that's it. The outside world is kind of shut off from me. Yeah. So it's and except for like doing things like this, doing interviews, I don't get out as often, to really interact and meet new people.
It's kind of become the norm nowadays. Yeah. It's really hard to get people to come out of their houses and hang out and do stuff. But,
True. Yeah.
Gotta offer them a lot a lot of incentive to come out and a lot of new stuff, something that they've never done before. So
yeah. So Jeff, tell us a little bit about yourself. How you grew up and your interest in film. I mean, wow.
I grew up in Loveland, actually.
Oh, okay.
Family moved there in the late 70s, so they've kind of been based there ever since. I tend to go away and come back, and go do my thing. But I've kind of chose this place to settle down now. So, cool. Kind of hung out with the punk rock crowd in high school. So had a foot tall mohawk and
oh, nice.
Went to a bunch of gigs in Boulder and Denver and stuff like that. We kind of always had to go away from here to find anything that had any substance and culture to it. So,
okay.
That's kind of what sparked the idea for this place, is to have a space where everybody can get together and share ideas, be creative, talk about stuff, turn people on to new stuff that they've never seen before or heard before.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah. For me, like growing up, I was in not too far away from here, a little small town called Crosier.
Oh yeah.
And 9 miles east of Greeley.
Yep.
So all of that cultural stuff was kind of vapid, almost non-existent, except for growing up on Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
So there was that. That was the closest thing back then when I was a kid, getting to that punk rock ethos.
Yeah.
And then art school was when I was meeting up with art kids and punk rock and everything. Mm-hmm. So I totally sympathize, and and I would love to see your mohawk. If you ever have any photos.
There may be one photo existing out there somewhere. I think I have one, so maybe I'll try and scan it in and put it up on Facebook or something.
Oh, that sounds pretty sweet. I would absolutely love that. So yeah, along with the kind of the counterculture, I'd imagine kind of film just kind of swam in there as well.
Yeah, it kind of one feeds upon the other. You know, music and film, and there was a lot of bands that I used to listen to that would reference movies that they've seen and stuff like that. So spark a curiosity in me to try and track them down and check them out at least. But pre-internet days, it was really hard to track this shit down.
Yeah.
You hear about something and where do you go to find it? You try to go to the local video store and they're not going to carry, the subversive fucked up shit that you're looking for.
Right. Yeah. Especially, back in the day, the Blockbuster stuff. Yeah. The big chains. Yeah. You really do have to go to a place like this.
The mom and pop stores where it's at. Yeah. There was a video store here in town that was closing as I was opening, and our paths crossed. And
oh, great! And
we kind of hit it off. So I bought out his remaining inventory and kind of added it to my own. So I'm trying to build upon what above and beyond what my specialty is, which would be horror and cult films.
Yeah.
To add a little bit more, try and get a bigger demographic in here.
Yeah, there's a lot of titles out there, and I would say at least half of them I've never heard of, which is it's it kind of creates that lust for life.
The algorithms on the internet are not going to direct you towards this stuff.
Right.
That was one thing that I really enjoyed about the video store days was establishing a relationship with the owner or the manager of the store and being like, well, I like this.
Right.
And then they would kind of steer you in the proper direction.
Yeah.
Based on what you actually liked and not who's paying them what money to push their product or whatever,
Yeah. Something that you would see, with that Blockbuster model where the studios basically are renting out, shelving or, that level of real estate.
Yeah.
As opposed to pushing taste.
Yeah.
Well, which incidentally too, like this weekend is the Oscars, and that's supposed to be like one of those platforms where they're the purveyors of taste, and too often not are we disappointed with their picks.
Yeah, Hollywood is incredibly disappointing when it comes to art and creativity and anything that is original.
Yeah.
I've started to tell people just to stop supporting remakes. If you stop spending your money on them, stop going to see them in the theater, stop buying the DVDs and Blu-rays when they come out, Hollywood will stop making remakes.
Right.
That's what they do. They respond to the money.
Right. That's true.
So, I like a good formulaic popcorn movie every once in a while, but I'd rather watch something with substance.
Yeah.
Something that makes me feel, or something that makes me experience or view something that's never been put on screen before. I love those moments where, you go, did you put that on film? Yeah.
Right.
I cherish those moments, man.
Right.
Let me get the door.
Oh, sure. No problem. Okay. We'll be right back. So just hang in there. For everybody that's out there, we are here at the Gorehound's Playhouse or Playground. I'm sorry. Oh, see, I keep getting that thing twisted, but it is absolutely remarkable. Here you can't see it, but we're sitting in the theater. You've got the big screens and several small screens where, Jeff was mentioning to me earlier, they've got a bunch of video game players that come and play on the big screen. And, they've got a number of like film study groups that come and meet here. And, they go through, the collection of DVDs and VHS and stuff, and watch these films and become fans and to an extent, connoisseurs, I suppose. But it's absolutely remarkable to see something like this exist in this age where so many of these stores are going out of style. But the nice thing is it's also a big community center too. Specifically for as Jeff put it, for the punks and the counterculture and everything to meet up about. And so it's great. I'll make sure to take some snapshots and post some photos and everything, and it should be, this is pretty fun stuff. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling. How about you guys out there who are watching? Do you have any questions while we wait for Jeff to get back? It's business hours. He's got to go do some business. I'm playing with the camera. I love it. Look at that. Did he say how many movies he has? It's definitely several thousand. I'll have to bring that up to him again. Thanks, Brett. But I think he's in the process of building new shelves, and that will add an extra 1,000 movies onto the rack. So SD, this is in Fort Collins. It's 1125 West Drake Road. And that's where this is. It's in the Cimarron Shopping Center. So make sure you come by and check this place out. You can go to their the Gorehound's playground, the Facebook page and website, and look up their information. But they're always doing like community nights, event nights, and stuff. Oh yeah, no problem. Absolutely a lot of stuff. How much of the store is horror related, would you say? Well, Brett, I would say about 65-75%. He's got a massive collection of subversive art films and tons of horror. Horror is the primary genre here, most definitely. Yeah. Thanks for that question, Brett. Anything else? SD, hopefully we'll see you down here sometime. Oh, here comes Jeff again.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. It's business hours. You got to go do business, right? Yeah.
Doorbell goes off. I got to answer.
Yeah, most definitely. Along with this, Jeff, how long has the Gorehound's playground been in business?
We celebrated our 2-year anniversary last year on Halloween.
Nice.
No, I couldn't think of a better day to open.
Right. That's perfect.
The concept's kind of been brewing in my brain for at least a decade.
Okay.
I was retired as a chef when
nice.
I did this, so I was did about 34 years in the hospitality industry. I would always ask people, where we would talk and stuff, and always ask people, have you heard of this band, or have you heard of this movie? Or, everybody, nobody knows about anything.
Right.
So the concept came about, there's got to be some place like this that still survives, survives the internet and streaming and all that stuff, because you're not going to find 2/3 of those movies out there streaming. Right. There's 9,000 movies out there for rent. I'm about to add another 1,000 titles in the rental.
Nice. So hopefully that answers your question, Brett. About 10,000 movies.
Yeah, I'm working towards it. I'm going to put some shelving on top of the racks out there, and then
Nice. That's absolutely wonderful. Yeah, and you would think too, with a tool like the internet, you would be looking, for those bands and for those films. For me, I'm a very curious person, and even online, which is, how I, unfortunately tend to communicate with the rest of the world.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking for that next thing that's just going to make me go, aha.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's film or a new band or an old band that I haven't heard of.
That's one thing that the internet was good for sure. Because pre-internet days, you had to rely on like fan magazines and Fangoria and stuff like that to, Fangoria had come out and I'd be like, where the fuck are these movies and how do I get them?
Right.
So I'd take the magazine down to the video store and I'd be like, dude,
this one,
come on, man.
That's great.
So it worked out pretty good. I mean, as a kid, my parents knew the video store owner there at the store, so I could come up with a stack of movies and put them on the counter, and he'd be like, no. No. So as a kid, I'm thinking, how do I get my hands on that shit?
Yep. Yeah.
Tell me I can't watch something, and I'm going to find a way to watch it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, parents, don't tell your kids no. Just say yes, and let them know that you're into it too.
It's not
and they'll
real.
It's like, well, that's not cool anymore. It's like, I know. Yeah. Stay away from mom and dad's porn stash. That's great. When I was a kid, growing up in Crosier, Colorado, we didn't have a video store until like something like the mid-late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, I can't remember, who it was. I couldn't even remember what it was called. But I remember as a kid, every week I would go in there and rent the VHS copy of Monster Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
fantastic.
Yeah, that was my go-to. That was my Goonies. Yeah.
That's great.
So, and then when I got a little older, it's just like, I got my own account. Of course I get those R-rated movies,
Sure.
And mom and dad would not know,
Cable was great, man. I used to wake up, sneak down in the basement at midnight and turn on Cinemax, HBO or whatever, the movie channel.
Yep. Yeah.
That's where I first got turned on to horror, was through that.
Okay.
Well, beyond, like the Universal Monsters and Hammer stuff.
Right.
The true horror came about, I guess it was the early 80s.
Okay.
When cable really took off.
Yeah.
And they started filling their late night slots with, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and just stuff I'd never seen before. So,
nice.
As a 9 or 10-year-old kid, you go down in the dark basement and turn on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's going to fucking scar you for life.
Yep. Yeah, very much so. That, incidentally, is my favorite horror movie of all time. I caught it young, and then I revisited it again in art school. And it was at least by that second viewing, I was just like, fuck, this is terrifying.
It's intense, yeah.
And
not much blood in it.
I would garner, there's like no actual blood. There's no actual like killing, nothing in camera. Everything's off camera.
Yeah.
And it's done in a way it's so,
realistic.
Yeah, it's very
gritty.
Documentary, kind of approach almost. And granted, like at the time, Tobe Hooper was, came from that school of filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it made perfect sense. And then, you jump forward to, as we were talking about remakes,
mm-hmm.
and I'm talking, past the sequels to the actual series.
Yeah.
Everything got much, much more gorier and stuff. And,
mm-hmm.
and, you talk to some of those producers on those films as well. The original was really, really gory. It's like, no, you never saw it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You're just in on this for the cash grab.
Yeah.
So it's very, it has this ethereal kind of feel to it, where latches onto you and really affects your psyche, and then opens the floodgates for so many more other opportunities to enjoy other films.
There comes a time where you get a little jaded, and it doesn't affect you anymore.
Oh, sure.
The horror side of it, anyway. I mean, I see jump scares coming a mile away.
Right. I
really don't get scared from movies anymore.
Yeah.
I look for movies that, make, like I was saying earlier, that make me go, wow, did you got some big fucking balls to put that on screen.
Right. Yeah. I think with me, it's like, especially with horror, and sometimes even a really good drama, if it gives me nightmares, it's successful.
If it stays with you afterwards,
right, has some gravitas. If it can apply for its own zip code, man, that's a wonderful film. I think recently, and I know you guys out there have heard me talk about this, but Hereditary was one of those films recently.
Oh yeah.
I watched it the first time. My girlfriend went and saw it in the theater, and she came back and she's like, I should have saw that with you. So she had nightmares, and then I was like, it's whatever. So
nightmares. I'm so jealous.
yeah. And then I went and watched it. I'm like, well, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is not how these things happen. When kid loses her life, it's like, where are the authorities? Where's all this? And then so I watched it. Got to the end and everything. Viewed that and didn't think too much of it. Had a nightmare. Stayed up all night after that. And I'm like, okay, we're watching this again. It's like, okay.
It's one of those ones that stuck with me for sure. I felt myself, found myself like 3 or 4 days after seeing it, going back and I'm like, wow, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud in the theater, in inappropriate moments, but
as one should.
That's what I do. If I giggle, if you find me giggling and smiling, it's a good one.
Yeah, I think I have a similar response too. I noticed I caught myself doing that, during the theatrical release of American Psycho. Mm-hmm. I thought that was the funniest comedy.
That one's kind of campy and it's kind of meant to be that way. Hereditary's pretty straight.
Yeah,
shit,
Yeah, most definitely.
It doesn't really. I mean, I saw the decapitation coming a mile away.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh yeah, here it comes, boom. And what got me though was after that, when they panned back and the head was on the side of the road all covered with ants and shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's when I laughed out loud in the theater. I was just like, oh, nice. And of course everybody looks at you like you're a fucking creep. And,
yeah. It's just like, hey, that's supposed to be appalling. It's like, no,
that was great.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's not to say that that's not lacking in a horrific sense. It's just that's the response it elicits, and it's I think any response is absolutely appropriate. Yeah.
Any kind of emotion.
Yeah, it's when you just go through it, I think, and don't become as an audience member, you're participating with the medium.
Yeah.
You're witnessing things unfold on the screen, and so if you don't come away with anything, it's hard to say that it's really the film's fault sometimes.
I try not to go into too many things with preconceived expectations or stuff like that, or watching it as a critic.
Right.
I really don't enjoy watching movies, to dissect them on a technical level.
Right.
Especially for the first time. I mean, if a film's good enough to where I can go back and rewatch it, then I start to apply those.
Those analytics.
Pick it apart.
Yeah.
I'm pretty forgiving for the most part with movies, especially with the indie stuff. I mean, I give those guys a pass quite often just because they don't have too much to work with.
Right.
I guess if there's one thing that I can't really stand, it's the shaky camera thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Found footage. I don't get it.
Yeah. you and my girlfriend both.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a hard time. She's a filmmaker. She went through film school, so she's like, get a tripod.
Yeah, you can't take the time to set up a shot.
Right,
Come on.
right. I think those type of found footage films, they have their place. Obviously, something like Blair Witch had an impact, a cultural impact.
Yeah. I'm not for the good, I don't think.
Okay.
I mean, the movie got me.
Right.
I mean, all the hype around it and everything got me to go see it and check it out. But when I came out of the movie, I was just like,
sure.
That was pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I think I had a similar experience. I remember when it came out, because wasn't it like 99, I think?
Yeah.
Around
there.
Yeah, I remember like The Westward back then, in Denver, the local free, cultural paper. They were soliciting pre-screenings for like a true to life documentary film around witches and stuff. And I was like, oh, that sounds neat, So that was like May. The film didn't actually get released until later in summer. And then it was assigned the name, at the time, Blair Witch Project. I was like, oh, so that's what that is. It's like, yeah, I'll go see that. And then it made a ridiculous amount of money that opening weekend. All my friends went and saw it, and they're like, oh, I had, one guy had, got vertigo because of the handheld, shaky hand. Yeah. And then others said, oh, it wasn't that good, but so many people had seen it. So, after the hype came, it's like, well, I was more interested when I couldn't go see it, when it was a supposed documentary.
Yeah.
When it was being advertised as that. I was like, oh my God, I want to see that now. Now I know it's just a fictional film. I was like, well, so I didn't get to see it. I didn't make myself see it until like maybe 10 years ago, So yeah, about 2010. Yeah. That's when I actually saw it. I saw the sequel first. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, usually we were talking about sequels and remakes. I mean, I'm more apt to see a sequel than a remake.
True.
Especially if the remake was a good film to begin with.
Right.
Why the fuck remake a good film?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Well, there are those where the remake ends up being at least maybe culturally more significant than the original. Yeah. So like John Carpenter's The Thing. Mm-hmm. My other examples are actually just evaded me.
No, that's all right.
So we'll just keep it The Thing. Obviously,
there are some few and far between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jeff, what's your favorite film? Obviously you have your own section.
Yeah, it's so hard to choose.
Is it? Yeah.
You were saying The Thing. There's some movies that I guess if I had to pick favorites, it would be based on the movies that I buy across all platforms.
Oh, okay.
I would say those are my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Movies like Blade Runner, The Thing, movies that I'll upgrade to 4K Ultra.
Okay.
Without even thinking about it. Yes, nice. Take my money.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. There's a handful of them out there.
Yeah. It's nice to have, some of those, those artifacts that you're such a fan of, but can still, participate with, even today on a semi-regular basis, I imagine.
Yep.
Thing was definitely one of those. Obviously, I mentioned Texas Chainsaw. For me, that's one of my top 5 favorites.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then I think Akira Kurosawa. Aside from horror, Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai is like one of the top. That's probably my favorite actually.
His stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
You can see the cultural influence on cinema for decades.
Yes. Yes, very much so. Yeah. Recently there came out that documentary on Jodorowsky's Dune.
Mm-hmm.
And how that production team that Alejandro put together, really informed and influenced, so much more, films, yet to come.
Yeah. I think if that movie would have got made, it would have changed the sci-fi genre for certain.
Right.
I mean, that Dune has a lot of high concepts to it, whereas you know, something like Star Wars is just basic, straightforward mythology.
Right.
So it's Dune's fun. I understand why the studios were just like, we don't get it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to give you any money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a bummer. I mean,
right. Yeah.
It's too bad that he couldn't have got that concept made outside of any Hollywood studio or studio system.
Right.
But, you know, back then there was really no indie scene, you know.
Yeah, that kind of limits your you know, what you can do if you want to scale up like that. Yeah, most definitely. And yeah, when you see that documentary too, like even I think he's in his late 80s. Yeah, he's still got the exuberance of a teenager.
Yeah, he's an eccentric guy.
Yeah, yeah, it's absolutely you know, lovely and remarkable. I mean, I was like, wow, I want to live to be like that. Then I was like, man, that seems like, you know, quite a heavy lifestyle to have to maintain to do that. But yeah, man. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about you know, the theater and you know, all the things that you're working on and doing, because you I've mentioned, you know, as you had to break to everybody that's watching, you know, just some of the things that kind of go on here, you know, as a community center and as a theater.
Yeah, initially when I first opened, I was showing scheduled movies open to the public, but that didn't turn out so well. It was hard to get people to come out and watch a movie they've never heard of or never seen before. There's a few adventurous people out there, but for the most part, it's pretty challenging to get someone to come out to see something new.
Right.
So I had to do something with the space to make money.
Right.
So I just decided to turn it into an event space.
Okay.
And then people are free to do whatever they want to do in here. If you want to watch a movie, if you want to play video games, play board games, have a party, have a social event, whatever you want to do in here is it's open for that. So it's been going a lot better since I made that change. For sure.
Nice.
For sure.
That's cool. Yeah, you even have a weekly comedy event.
Yeah, so when I opened it up as an event space, I just kind of put the word out to everybody. If you have something that you want to do, some kind of program or some kind of event that you want to host, get it together and make it happen here. Nice. So the comedians kind of took that and ran with it. We're doing a comedy night every week.
Oh, cool.
So we rotate between Tuesday and Wednesday. Last week was, or this Tuesday was open mic night.
Oh, okay.
So next Wednesday coming up will be our pre-programmed event.
Nice.
So we've got a couple sets of comedy and set of live music, and then I usually play kooky, weird, strange trailers.
Cool.
So it's been going good. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Playing kooky, weird, strange trailers. That's always a nice way to hook people. Hopefully turn them on to some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you have a pretty good response from the local community that they're into this, and this being what, year 2 or you're going into
the third. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are your plans for the future, keeping this thing going?
I want to try to switch my business model to a nonprofit.
Okay.
I would like to run this as, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Scarecrow Video in the Northwest.
No.
I think they're in Washington State.
Okay.
They basically have I think they have 100,000 titles.
Oh, wow.
And it's basically just like a library. So they have, board members that help them, that have specific skill sets in different areas that help them run the organization. And then there's members and donors. It's basically a film preservation society.
Oh, okay.
Which is what I want to do here.
Oh, wow.
Not only preserve the physical media, the actual discs, DVDs and Blu-rays and VHS, that kind of stuff, but preserve the rental scenario as well. I mean, that's something that I think I'm the only video rental store north of Denver in Colorado, as far as I know.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So it's the scenario that really needs preserving more so than the actual physical media.
Yeah. Well, and you know, with that too, like, you know, renting a video from your store, going home, watching it, and then coming back and like engaging on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the experience I think, you know, so many of us, you know, really miss out on.
Lost from the streaming.
Yeah.
For sure.
Sorry, let me
You're okay.
adjust this here a little bit. Yeah. Like you said, with streaming, you're just not going to get it. And you got this phenomenon called, you know, with binge watching.
Yeah.
Too. It's like how much of that is actually being absorbed of that media that you're actually watching, and then can you turn? You know, most people don't turn right away and kind of expunge that new information or share that new information that you've just participated in. People will post on social media and stuff, but it's not the conversational exchange that like you and I are having now.
Eye to eye.
You're right. Yeah.
That's certainly lost.
Yeah.
That's certainly lost on the streaming side of things for sure.
Yeah. Until Twitter can invent the digital handshake, you know, fuck it.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, we're just about ready to wind down a little bit. Can you tell everybody out there where they can find you, find the shop, find the theater, how they can come support what you're doing, participate, because really what you've got going on, the opportunities are endless.
Yeah The only thing that really limits you is your imagination,
right?
I've got a internet presence, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I have people that help me run those accounts.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook twice a day. I check in the morning and again at night before I leave the store. But for the most part, I'm here working, doing projects. I always have 4 or 5 projects that I'm working on. So
nice.
Fort Collins. We're in Fort Collins off of southwest corner of Drake and Shields. 1125 West Drake Road, Unit B6. We don't have a sign up top, so sometimes it's a little challenging to find us. So just look for Trans Martial Arts Studio. They have the only sign up top. So
that's right.
We're right next door.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you ever thought about doing martial like Kung Fu night and having some of the students come over and do demos while you watch Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan?
I did post
Sonny
that
Shiva.
too. Yeah. Some old Shaw Brothers stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be
fun. that would be cool. And then what's your website?
It's thegorehoundsplayground.com.
Okay.
Yep. As this business is a work in progress, so is all that other stuff.
Okay.
The website's got a lot of information up there. We're trying to kind of build a filmmaking community out of what we're doing as well.
Oh, nice.
So, there's another group in town that meets at the Lyric.
Okay.
Which is kind of a little indie film theater here.
Nice.
In town. There's a group of indie filmmakers that meets there, and then we have that here as well. So there's a couple people that are working on projects and have some stuff that some actual scripts and stuff that they've been working on. So
that's wonderful that you're able to help cultivate that maker's creative
it's hard to build a community.
Yeah, it is. I hear it takes a village.
Yes, it takes more than one person.
Right. Well, thanks so much, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you.
And speaking of events, this afternoon at 1 o'clock, we're going to start doing some coloring book stuff. So come on down. We've got our Colorado Festival of Horror coloring books. We'll be selling those. I've got some print-offs too, and we can sit there and just
lots of markers and colored pencils and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, and you don't have to stand in the lines. You can do whatever you want. So anyway, come on down for that. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Yeah.
I look forward to seeing what you guys are going to put together for the festival. For sure.
So do I. This is going to be our inaugural year, so it's going to be a massive learning process. But we're super excited, awesome. And everybody that we've talked to seems to be really into it. Well,
if I can help you guys in any way, just let me know.
Oh, most certainly. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again. This is Dan Crosier with COFOH Live Undead and Jeff Abbott.
Thank you, guys.
All right. We'll see you later.